Okay, so please continue.
Absolutely. Okay, so like I said, this is the web portal, and this is my physical phone screen, phone or tablet, whatever your community outreach partners, I guess you
Right,
call
right.
them,
Hmm.
will be utilizing, right? So I built the form two different ways, and just kind of run through. I know which way I prefer, but it's not about what I prefer. It's about what's going to help you guys the most, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to start with the team smile. Also, you can see, obviously, we can put your logo, name up here, whatever
Okay.
you need.
Hmm.
Um, so we're going to start with the smile team, right? And this is going to be the most basic of what you gave me, and then I'll show you how we can elaborate on that further.
Okay. Okay.
So, for this team smile or smile team, these are the categories you wanted them to answer, correct?
Yes, I see. Yeah, oral health bags, distributed,
Yep.
dental care referrals made. Yep. And residence contacts. Yep. That's
Great.
bare
So
bones. What we need from.
absolutely bare bones, and we can get more complex, but I want to start here, right? So,
Mhm.
they go in, they fill out on their tablet, contacts made 25, and they hit submit. That's it,
Mhm.
right? So that's going to collect the information that
Okay.
you're looking for.
Mhm.
And I will show you the web portal, what that looks like. It's in real time. When I say real time, it's 6 to 10 second delay. So you can see here, hey, I just filled out this form. Here's the information, the time I started the form, time I completed the form, and my physical address when I completed the form.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
So I
Okay.
have the ability here to
Mm.
click on the link, and I can actually see that on a live view map. So you can see I'm literally here in my office. If you want to see it on a satellite view, because we integrate with the latest version of Google Maps, you can actually see it on a satellite view, and there's my office.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Quick question.
Shoot.
So if our partners, of course, they're going door to door. If they were to put the data in at every instance they engage a resident, we would then be able to go into the system and see what address they were at through this connection to Google Maps.
So I'm going to say technically yes, but that's not how I think you guys are going to utilize it,
Okay.
because it's when they submit the form, right? So
Yeah.
this particular form is like an end of the day form. So it will literally have the
Mm.
location of where they submitted it at the end of the day.
I see.
There,
Okay.
there are
Okay.
definitely other ways of viewing data, and I'll get to all of that.
Okay.
But this is step one. This is bare bones. Let me move me out of the way. Maybe they made a mistake. You want to go and edit it. You can mark it reviewed so that later on, when you're going through all of the reports, you can see that. If you want it as a PDF, you can see it as a
Hmm.
PDF. Here's all the information that we collected.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Mm.
You also had made mention about having them receive a copy of this information.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we could have an email address here, and maybe when the form gets submitted, it automatically gets emailed to them.
Nice.
Would that solve that criteria for you?
Oh yeah, yeah. It removes the step that our office, used to have to facilitate. Certainly.
Perfect, perfect. And you can also get all of this information via Excel or CSV.
Okay.
Okay, because I know that was a question as well, right? So you can export it
Yeah.
and then do whatever you want with the data.
Mhm.
Let me show you first of all, do you have any questions about that first one, or can I show you the second one and then we can go with more questions?
Yeah, you can show me the second one, and then I'll just throw up some questions for the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So border community. So I did this one a little bit differently. So I
Mhm.
did this one as what we call a repeatable. So info. So they would open the that particular form, they go into info, and they choose an address from what we call a custom list. So the list that you provided me had 100 and something addresses,
Yeah.
and I imported all of those. So now I can go and I can choose a list. We have
Okay.
the ability to barcode scan as well. I'm guessing you're not doing that on people's houses, but we have that ability. So let's say I put in an address 12142 and nothing good. How about 112? There we go. 112
Okay.
Purdy, or whatever
Interesting.
streets are associated with an address. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So if you had 112 Woodland, it would show 112 Purdy, 112 Woodland, and they'd be able to pull that from a list.
Got you. Yeah. Actually, that would indeed make it simpler. what we were trying to get away from is the full drop down. So where you have to actually find the address. The fact that you have this so that there's a search bar, they type in the house number, that saves a lot of time. Like you
Sure.
wouldn't imagine how much time that would save.
I
Um,
I I imagine. So now we're at the 112 Purdy,
mhm.
right? And then hey, how many first aid kits typically do they give per house? One, two?
Just how many people are in there? So let's say it's a two-family household. We'll say maybe like eight, two,
Okay,
four, two, four.
great. So we gave
Uh,
8 first aid kits. How many brochures did we leave?
that would just be two, one for each house.
Perfect. When it says residents contacted, I put this as a fixed number. Obviously, you can change that. But if they go to one house, is it one resident? Or if they speak to 3 people, is it 3 residents?
Yeah, well, specifically for the Smile team, who is dentistry, they would want every person who they spoke to. So that's the kids and the adults. So that would be
Okay.
everybody. Mhm.
Got it. Okay, so this field, I've locked it down, but this field can be just like the rest.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so now they went to 112 Purdy. Now we're going to add another. Now, okay, great. We went to 112. Now we're going to go to let's see, 114. Yeah, 114 Purdy.
Mhm.
How many first aid kits did we give? Let's say 5. How many brochures? We left 3. And I'm going to say we're done for now. But you can keep going throughout the
Understand.
course of the day, and then it will automatically total the numbers that they've given out.
Okay, nice. And just to reiterate,
Yep.
I saw on that last screen where it showed the two um or addresses that you had already filled out. Clicking on those addresses wouldn't necessarily, well, I guess you wouldn't even need to see where they are because the address is already included. It remains there. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just
No, that's okay. Thinking out loud.
all
Nothing wrong with
right.
that. That actually helps me to understand more of what your process looks like. So please
Okay.
keep that up. So you can
Yeah.
see that it totaled all of the information. I put a couple extra fields here,
Hmm.
um, just to show you more power of what our forms can do. So is there any issues? I messed this up, but let's say no, nothing happens. If they say yes, maybe we want a drop. Hey, tell us what the issues or feedback was.
Hmm.
Maybe we
Okay.
want to take a high quality photograph. Maybe we got
Oh
into a
wow.
car accident or there was something that they needed to document. And again, they hit submit.
That's I can't even. That's another big one there. To be able to take a photograph, because as you can imagine, like our teams who are going door to door, while the Smile team doesn't necessarily take care of, let's say, some foliage or some some growth happening on the household, they can take the picture, and now we would know where that is, and then I can send that to the forestry department or the streets department. So
Sure,
that is another big
sure.
sell right
And
there.
and and you know what? We could even have a separate form for that. So that doesn't muddy your data. You can have,
Mhm.
oh, hey, if you guys see something, you can even have a label in there. Hey, if you see some overgrown trees that need to be taken care of the forest department, you go fill out the forestry form, and you don't even have to send it. They take the picture, and we can have the email address associated. So when they hit submit, that department already gets the email.
Wow, 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 wow. Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Um, yeah, so you can come in here also, and I didn't show you on the form, um, but you can actually edit the pictures, make notes, draw on the photograph,
Mhm.
right from the phone or tablet.
Yeah, and I have a few partners who would circle, like, especially like in the photograph, exactly what they're talking about or what
Sure.
the resident was
Yeah.
complaining about.
Do you want me to show you what that looks like, or
Sure, sure.
sure? Okay, so let's go back to the phone. We'll go to border community, start new form. Let's just take a picture of the issue. We're going to take a picture of my keyboard again, and we're going to hit OK. It saves the picture to the form. We click on it, and we want to make notes on the form. Maybe we do an edit, and we circle. We make an X. We point
Yeah, all
here.
those keys aren't working.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And then I'm going to
that's
hit save.
nice.
And I'm going to submit this, and I want to show you how clear our photographs are. Because when you're text messaging or emailing a photograph, typically the picture is condensed,
Hmm.
right, to save bandwidth. But if you
Yeah.
come here and we click on this, oh, first of all, let me go back one. You can see the physical address of where I've taken that photograph
Mm-hmm.
as well. If it was from my gallery and I didn't take that photograph live, it would have a G down here in the corner.
Address of photo is recorded. Thanks for being patient while I take the notes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so you can see it's a high quality photograph, right?
Very high quality.
Now, if I click on the screen, we can even zoom in a little further. Like, oh, I got a little dust on my keyboard, but I mean that is a photograph that's you can get that clear of a photograph just using our software.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I can man, the devices you guys are providing must be what? These are the top of the line. I can only imagine it. My camera can't do that. I think I have an iPhone 11.
You know what? Your camera can do that.
Oh, okay, okay.
It
Yeah,
it,
just
ab-
exactly.
it absolutely can. And when it comes to the device side, that's not the side I work on. I
I got you.
strictly support Workforce Manager. So
Understood,
that's just
understood.
the software side.
Mm,
Um, so excuse me. Yeah, so you can come in, you can pull any of the information. You'll be able to see the recent submissions. Let's say we went to wireless forms and what do we call this border community,
mhm.
and you want the ability to see, hey, I want to see data, right? I want to see how many entries for today. This would be a bar graph. You can obviously change that. And then you can see all of the entries for any given time frame or based on user.
I see. Wow.
So, for example, when I tested out this form on uh, a couple of days ago, Wednesday, I built a
Mhm.
form. Hey, I put a bunch of different addresses, and obviously it totals all that information.
That is incredibly helpful. I can't imagine. It's funny. This is the kind of information that the mayor asked for it to be made clear into graphs and just to have the data. So you are streamlining the process, incredibly. Like,
That's all. I,
I
I
think,
love to hear that, man.
yeah.
I love to hear that because, I mean, yeah, I'm a sales guy, but I love to know that I'm actually helping people, with
Mhm,
with problems that they have, with pain points that they have.
mhm.
So let me show you another feature of our software. So first of all, we can do dispatching. We can do timekeeping. We can also do GPS tracking, and that's kind of
Mhm.
what I want to discuss right now, if that's okay with you.
Oh, please.
So we have the ability on a live map, and I'm going to zoom here because I'm here in Massachusetts, but you guys are up here. To see, hey, we can see all the devices. Now this is a cluster, but you can see here's my physical phone. We track vehicles as well. Here's my car in the driveway. Again, we can see the satellite map. Maybe we want to see a traffic view, right? So this is our live tracking. So for example, if I was out and about, I'm going to zoom out to Boston a little bit because I live in the sticks, but you can see, hey, because it uses the latest version of Google Maps, you can see, hey, northbound on I-93, there's a little bit of traffic right here by Wollaston, but southbound, there's no traffic, right? So I don't know if that's helpful for what you guys are doing currently, but it's an added
It's just
feature.
above and beyond. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's nice.
Um,
It's nice to have for
yeah,
sure.
and then you can see a breadcrumb trail of where that tablet or phone has gone throughout the course of the day.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me pick. What's a good date? February. I think the 13th. I think that's a good date. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, so I took a little boat ride. I went
Okay.
fishing, right? So you can see, hey, I'm out here, and
Excuse
you
me.
can see the trails that I've taken. Obviously, it's there and back and forth, but you can see
Mhm.
which direction I'm heading. So you can see that whole breadcrumb trail. So imagine, your Smile team is walking throughout a neighborhood with a tablet. You can actually track all of their steps, and it
Mhm.
pings while they're moving every single minute.
Wow. Wow.
Um, we can
This
even
is
collect
quite the
more
system.
data. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking out loud again. I'm like, this is quite the system. This is this is pretty advanced. I love to see it.
Good, good. I'm glad. Um, yeah, so you can see, hey, that I'm charging my phone. And you can actually see what the battery life is and that you're charging um, the phone right here, right? And you
Yeah.
can see that I have network connection. So I'm going to zoom down a little bit. My network coverage was spotty, right, when I'm out to sea.
Yeah.
But you can see, hey, so I'm at 92% and I lost network coverage, right?
Mm.
But you can also see what my battery life is. So, oh, sorry, we couldn't complete it. The battery died. Well, now you have insight to see what that battery life is.
Right. I see. Yeah. It just is good for accountability and everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Um, is there anything else? I mean, so when you send them out to a neighborhood,
Mhm.
do you tell them which neighborhood they're going to hit today, tomorrow?
We do it weekly. So, the week prior, I'll say, I'll send out a map with the area that we're going to be covering and the amount of properties, and that's actually how we get that Excel sheet, which is another question I had for you. Was would should the director approve the system, would you be able to walk us through how we can upload the Excel sheet onto the tablet so that they do have the addresses in the drop menu that you showed me prior?
Yeah. So, yeah. So the way that would work is you would just get the addresses on a CSV file, so Excel basically, and just
Okay.
just upload them right through the system.
Okay. Oh, so there's an avenue to do that through the system. Um,
Yes. Yes. So,
yeah.
for example, yeah. So I'll show you. So I go to admin
Mhm.
and custom lists,
Mhm.
and all you do is you hit new from file, you choose the file, and then you line up, what goes with
Um,
what, the name, address, whatever information you want, and then you upload it.
okay.
So really easy, and I'll show you what yours looks like. I think I have them under addresses. So you can see, hey, here are all the addresses you gave me, and I just imported them. That's all.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right.
Thanks.
If there's other information that is attached to each address, you can have separate columns.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we can do that. Like, so for example, for the residents, I wasn't sure if, one household equals one resident. So I put a count in there and I literally just put one. So
Okay.
it automatically would fill in that information. Yeah, so there's a bunch of different ways of doing that. And then you can export the addresses as needed as well.
All right. Ooh, man, so helpful, so so informative. Last question, and I'm not sure if
Well,
this is a question for you
be,
or
be,
the
before we
device.
get there, before we
Oh
get
no,
there,
please.
because
Got you.
because I think there's a couple of more things that we offer that's included that will help you as well.
Okay, please, yeah.
Um, so dispatching.
Hmm.
So now you can tell your teams where to go. Maybe you have a link, so you have something in particular that you want them to know. You can set this up in our dispatching so that you now send that job to their application.
Okay.
So let's say I go to the scheduler, and maybe this is instead of Ian Melnick, this says Smile Team or Smile Team 1 versus Smile Team 2, what have you.
Hmm.
And I start a new order. So maybe on the 11th, I want you to go to this neighborhood. Start here, right?
Hmm.
And then each one can have forms. So the service type is maybe it's the Smile Team or I forgot the other names of your team, but something like
There's
that.
border community service. Yeah, there's
Or
a few.
Florida Community Service, thank you.
Yeah.
So let's say concrete delivery, just for example. And now it says pickup plant and mix type. If it was a delivery install, maybe there's no information there. Customer pickup, maybe, hey, the name, the address. So maybe you say, okay, yep, I want you to hit this block today. Start at this address, finish at this address.
Hmm.
Um, so that'd be very helpful. Maybe you have a Dropbox account that you have something special, like a link to maybe a map of some sort that you want
Yeah.
them to see, so they can come in here and now they can click on that link and see that whatever you want to attach to it.
Okay.
Does that make
Because
sense?
that was it. Yeah, you. It's funny you answered the question I was just about to ask. Thank you.
Perfect.
Uh,
Perfect. Yeah. Please don't tell my wife. She thinks I am not a mind reader. So I don't understand. You can read Michael's mind. So for
don't worry
example,
about it.
I appreciate that. So this is the information you're pushing out to the field.
Mhm,
We pick a user and let's pick a time. So let's say till I don't know, 6 p.m. just for fun. And then I
mhm.
hit save.
Okay.
Okay, so two things are going to happen as soon as I hit save. The first one is it's going to show up on this scheduler, right? So you can see that it's been dispatched and the colors change. So as the user, I receive a message on my phone that says, "Hey, I've got a new order." I
Mhm,
can view it or ignore it, and you can see the one up here by dispatching.
mhm.
So that's the reminder, kind of like your text message reminders. Hey, you have
Right.
27 unread text messages. So let's
Yeah.
view it. So maybe it gives us the starting address. I can click on that. It brings me to Google Maps. So then it takes me right to that physical address.
Mhm. Wow. Yeah.
If there was a phone number involved, maybe, hey, I want to call this person, this whatever, before I head out. One click and it puts it right into your dial pad. Um, all the information maybe that has that link that we discussed a little while ago, or the information you're pushing out. And I'm going to move this over just a little bit so you can watch this. So what happens is, okay, we go to change status. Hey, we've gotten there, and these are all customizable. So
Right.
maybe, hey, we're in progress. I hit save. And in just a few seconds, this will change, and now this will say in progress, and oh, there we go, and it will turn green. So now
Okay.
whoever's managing these programs in the back end can look and go, oh, hey, okay, this is in progress, or and maybe for this program because it's a day-long thing, the in progress is not super important, but maybe you have for your forestry division or DPW, and I know that's a little bit outside of your purview, I think, but
Yeah.
thinking about, hey, you got to do this job. Okay, we're in progress. Maybe the DPW, they're filling in a pothole. And I don't know how that would relate to you, because I haven't done a clean sweep type project yet. Um,
I
but
hear you. Yeah.
but so hey, so let's say, oh yeah, we're filling the pothole. Okay,
Mhm,
great. Here's some questions that we have. Again, the forms that are just built
mhm.
into that dispatching module. Was there a wait? Was there traffic? Was it bad? Yes or no. Let's say no. Were there issues? Yes. Hey, I want a picture of that pothole or that issue or what have you.
Okay.
So they can collect all of that information. And then you'll see this is now changed to unloading. So now you know what process, hey, and then we're done. We're going to go here. We're going to hit complete. And again, all customizable. And now I have no orders left for the day, and they are in uh, chronological order. And then you'll see
Right.
this is turned blue and it's now complete.
Completed. Gotcha.
Yep.
Nice.
And you
Okay.
can drop a drag between users, what have you.
Okay.
And then not only for these forms that you're talking about, but what other paperwork do you use at Clean Sweep or the city of Buffalo in general? We can
Um.
replace almost all of that or all of that.
So what you just described for me was the real paperwork that we go through. The basically how many residents have we contacted? What did we give them? You know what I mean? What were the issues that we with the primary issues that we saw in that area? And how many were we able to take care of on the spot? How many need to be, taken care of later? And I already, noticed avenues with which I could get all of that information just through the system you showed me here, because they're basically uploading as they do it. You know what I mean? So the problems are coming in, and it'll tell me like what, how many people, how many families, how many, everything we need to know. Everything we need to know. So the I'm trying to think of, is there any more questions I have regarding um that, but nothing's really coming to mind other than, I'm pretty optimistic that our director is going to go with this system. Would there be a more in-depth training that we can go through later on after? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
the way it works is, sorry.
You're fine.
The way it works is once you guys sign up,
Mhm.
we whoever's going to be the administrator, I'm guessing it'll probably be you. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you know you'll be the admin, and I'll send you a link to register. So you're creating a username and password.
Okay.
Typically about 24 to 48 hours after that, one of our customer service managers reaches out
Mhm.
and says, "Hey, let's set up a time to onboard you. Let's train you." That
Okay.
time frame will be 1 hour, but we offer
Mhm.
unlimited support.
Awesome. Okay.
So, hey, you need training, you have questions, you'll always have access to me, and you'll always have access to your customer support manager or customer
Okay.
success manager.
Awesome.
And that's
Awesome.
included. That's no additional cost. Unless you guys would like to pay for it, then I'm happy to figure out a way to charge you for it.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be looking for that. Well, let's have
Um,
this too.
I do have one more question for you, and now that
Of
I'm
course.
thinking about it, do the people that are out in the field, are they hourly? Are they salary? Are they volunteers?
It's more of a volunteer base, so they represent their own organizations.
Okay.
And that's separate from the people who are city staff like myself. So, like you mentioned, DPW and forestry, they're working through the city, so they're getting paid hourly through the city with, and commissioners, of course, are salary. But our other organizations, such as Smile Team Buffalo and a Border Community Service, they're their own separate organizations. So they're basically we have contact with their administration, and they
Right,
know that
right, right.
they're out working with
Sure.
us, so they're still
Yeah.
getting,
Yeah, they
compensated.
get grant money or donations or whatever to help fund their
Precisely,
projects. Understood.
precisely, precisely.
The reason I brought that up is because we can also do timekeeping from the same app.
Oh wow, okay.
So for example, let's do that. So do you want to see that? I should ask. I should ask. I should be respectful of your time. I apologize.
Oh
Would
no,
you like to
no,
see
no,
that?
please, yeah. I'm ready for it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm currently clocked in. You can see what time I clocked in. I clocked in at 10:01 a.m. on Friday. I've been clocked in for 4 hours. In 1 minute. We can also attach forms to this. So maybe I want to start my lunch. Great. I started my lunch at 2:02. There's never any, oh, what time did I start my lunch? I don't know how they're doing it in the field, but you have somebody, DPW, or forestry, maybe they write it down or it's the honor system, right? And you can think about, we believe that most employees are honest.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But there's a few. Yeah,
right?
I
There's a
understand what
few,
you're
but
saying.
also
Yeah,
people make mistakes.
yeah.
Oh, I took a half-hour lunch, but maybe it was 45 minutes. Maybe you're not paid for your lunch.
Mhm.
Honest accident, right? Hey, hardworking
Yeah.
person. I just lost track of time. I thought I punched out at 2:15, but really I punched out at 2 o'clock. But I didn't punch out because I'm in the field. If you think about what that 15 minutes means to the city, as far as what we pay them and benefits and all that other everything else, I
It's
mean, that
yeah.
that's huge over the course of a week, and multiply it by all the employees. Okay, so I started lunch. I've been on lunch down here. You can see I've been on lunch for 1 minute. I'm going to end my lunch, start lunch, end lunch, my clock out for the day. I actually had a customer who wanted to make sure that their employees took a 30-minute lunch break. Did you not? I say yes, no problem. I say no, why did you not? I want a reason because you're required to. Now I understand if you're on an emergency job or what have you, but I need some information, right? You can also, and you can see the little asterisk here. That means it's required. The little
Okay, yeah.
asterisk.
Okay.
That means it's
Yeah.
required, which means they can't submit the form,
Without answering the
right,
question.
without answering. It'll say, "Hey, you got to go back and do that."
Mm.
So that's timekeeping, and then obviously you can export all of that information. You can have reports. You can see that I clocked out, and you can see all of this. There's a million different ways of viewing the data. Maybe we
Mm.
want to see the dashboard view of, hey, how many hours did I work this week? I'm at 60 hours, but this would be a bar graph. Again, you can change the type of graph if you want.
Okay.
Maybe you want to see different entries. And again, remember how we reviewed the form?
Hmm.
So you can do that with here too. Like, oh, hey, oh, look, Ian worked 26 hours. That's not right. I'm going to click on that. And maybe I want to edit it and say, yeah, he punched out at 5 p.m. because clearly that's not right. And I'm going to save that. Again, also GPS locations of where I punched in and out. You can
Nice,
see my
nice.
life is pretty boring and I don't ever
Yeah.
leave the house.
It's very in depth of the system.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
very accurate.
and then you can also approve it, right? So remember hey, they go through and maybe you have the supervisor go through and say, hey, okay, yep, this time looks right. This time looks right. So I click the approve button. And now you can see that he's checked it, right? Or she's checked it because, hey, maybe we've gone through and then we get a phone call and then we leave for the day and we come back and we're like, oh, where did I leave off? You can actually show that they've now been approved.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, so let me show you our forms a little bit more in depth because you did ask about uploading and such.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you the border community, right? And you can see we have thousands of pre-made forms, but I also have, I built all of these. For example, maybe a man down form for you guys. I've been to Buffalo, some neighborhoods are amazing, others not as much. Maybe they have an issue and they want to just, go to the man down form, click submit, and somebody gets an email that says, hey, I need help right now. Here's my address because that's the GPS location.
Gotcha.
So
Wow.
let me show
Yeah.
you kind of what the form looks like and how easy it is to build, because that seems to be one of the biggest challenges where customers go, oh, I don't know if I could build a form, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do so residents contacted. We had this as a formula, right? Wait, let's go in here to our repeatable. So we did this based on the custom list. Remember, because I wasn't sure how we calculated that. And we're going to use whole numbers, not decimals, because if you contacted a half a person, that might be a bigger issue. Different
Yeah.
form for that.
Yeah.
And I hit save. So now if we look at that form that we filled out earlier, now I can put how many residents we contacted. It's really that easy to change everything.
Wow.
Perhaps maybe you want a text box. Or actually, here, let's do the radio button inside each address because you want to collect more data. Any issues or feedback, right? And we'll say yes, and we'll say no. And we're going to make this required. So there you go. And then we can preview it and say, hey, we filled out all this information, select the address, any issues, yes or no, right? And then maybe we say, if there are issues, maybe we want a text message, or we can even do a drop down. What kind of issue was there? Pick from these, whatever, or check boxes. And then we say here, and then we make it based on if they said any issues or feedback equals yes, we want this to pop up. Done. So now when we look at it, we say, hey, any issues or feedback? No, nothing happens. We say yes. Now describe the issue. So you can collect as much information as you want. Maybe you want to actually make sure that they were visiting these people because their grant is based on visiting X amount of. Sure. So maybe we say, you know what? We want maybe we want the signature.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we make it required. So we just check the box. Now it's required. They can't go further without it. So now, let me just save it and I'll publish it. So now they can collect those signatures. Some people might be weary of signing something.
Right.
But I guess you could always position and say, hey, I have to be able to account for that I've given out X amount. Please just sign that I've given them to you. There's no cost. This is this is what we offer. And then now let's show you. So it updates immediately. So we'll go to border community again, back to my phone, info. Let's pick an address. 105 Woodlawn. 5 first aid kits, 2 brochures. Okay, that's 3. We contacted 5 residences. Any feedback? Yes. Stuff here. And then maybe we get the resident's signature. Oh, let me show you before I do that, actually.
Is
So
it
let
like
me
a
show you what
touchscreen
happens.
situation? Like where they'll
So,
be able to just like a touch screen and just scribble a name on there?
yeah. Yeah, this is
Okay.
actually my phone. Literally my phone.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. You mentioned that.
right?
Gotcha.
Like, so if I scroll down, you can see like, hey, I got a couple of text messages, you
Gotcha.
know.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So if I tried to hit submit here,
Mhm.
it says, oh no, you can't because this is required. You can't go further until this requirement is met. So I come here, I take my finger, I sign, I hit save, and I hit done. And it will tell me, hey, this is what I've done. Okay, close. And now I can obviously submit that, and that would come back to the web portal with all that data that you were looking for.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
Nice.
it's really just that easy. It's drop and drag for the forms, and I'll show you all the different fields that we can collect. Maybe you have other
Mm,
ideas. So text message, label, number, currency. We can do calculations, dropbacks, drop downs. The email address that I was telling you about before, so that you can put an email address so it gets sent out, or we can even do that through reporting as well. There's a couple of different ways. Time, date, which is automatic on the form, but if you wanted other information for time and date, you could manually put that in. The camera, we can do scanning, so we can scan barcodes, QR codes, NFC tags. So, for example, um, maybe your DPW solid waste. I don't know if you guys have that division or it's outsourced, but hey, maybe you have a barcode on each trash barrel. And if there's an issue with the trash barrel, we're going to pull out a form, we're going to scan it, right? So it automatically inputs, it is associated with an address, and then it goes to the maintenance department. It goes, hey, we have to replace this or fix the wheel on this, what have you, right? So I don't know if that would be helpful for you guys in Clean Sweep,
right.
but just
Yeah, yeah.
just giving you some ideas. We can collect audio. That does not show up in a Excel file. Obviously, it's a wave file, but hey, maybe they need to record some audio. Maybe, hey, there's a really weird hum that's coming from this X. So we can record that. And again, the custom lists I showed you before. And all it is literally just drop and drag. If I wanted this up here, I just drop and drag.
Very
And
intuitive. I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome.
Um, so that in a nutshell is what we do.
Yeah.
Are there any questions that you thought of? And let me check your notes because I know you had made mention of finally program partners. Yeah, so the partners could have access to, hey, this is what you've given out today. Here's all the addresses.
Hmm.
And that could be an automatic email.
Awesome.
Um, yep, simplify the process. And yeah, and I recommend probably doing this on a tablet, not a phone.
Okay.
Um, Simply because you're going to be doing it, I'm guessing, all day, correct?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
roughly.
for battery, yeah, absolutely for battery life. And if you're having people sign it,
Hmm.
you want a bigger screen. Also, I'm guessing that you might have a lot of some of your volunteers might be older,
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
so eyesight might be more of an issue. So you have a nice big screen. I don't sell equipment, but that's based on what
No,
you're
no, no.
telling me. I think,
I understand. Yeah,
yeah, I
I
think that
understand what
might
you're saying.
work. Yeah, so I think I covered everything unless I mean, obviously I'm happy to do the form for Public Works or what have you, but I think
Okay.
what I showed you today kind of
Mhm.
covers all of that because it's the same thing, it's just with different verbiage.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be different questions, and I very pleased with what I've seen. What I'm gonna do, if you don't mind, is go through this again. I try to come up with some questions for you.
Sure.
I'll preliminarily just kind of, introduce it to the director, and then when he has time for a meeting, maybe we can have a more formal kind of meeting where he might have some more questions for you, after he has at least the understanding I have now of your system, so he's
Sure.
not coming in blind, So
Sure. Absolutely.
I think that'll be the best, best course of action going forward.
Sure.
But
Now is the director, is he the director of the Clean Sweep program, or does he cover more than just Clean Sweep?
also, he's a director of the entire division. So the Division of Citizen Services, of under which Clean Sweep is an initiative. So I'm the Clean Sweep coordinator, but he is a director of the office in which I work under.
Okay.
So that's why he would have, of course, the final say as to what programs and tools that we would use for the Clean Sweep.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
And so what other departments fall under citizen services? Is that, I mean, I noticed you had public works out here. Is it public works and DPW?
Yeah, so yeah, the mayor's impact team, the public works is it's kind of a different division, but we kind of work really hand in hand with them. Our
Sure.
crime prevention is definitely under Division of Citizen Services. Same with our Save Our Streets program. So a lot of the and the 311 call center. So a lot of the community engagement aspect of the city, like the front facing um, uh, department is citizen services.
So you said something after you said save our streets, and then you said something call center, but I didn't hear what that
Oh, so
was.
we have a 311 call center. So any
Oh,
resident in
three.
Buffalo, they call 311 and then they can either give a complaint or ask questions. And then our 311 call center operators would then uh, send their complaint to the correct department that can service them or answer their questions on hand. It's funny, today is actually 311 day because it's March 11th. So we're actually kind of celebrating those guys out there.
Okay.
So, bit of a,
Yeah.
little party day today. But yeah, it's really just the front facing citizen serving department of the city of Buffalo.
Got it.
We deal with most of the public and the citizens, the residents.
Got it. Got it. And do you know if they do everything on with pen and paper or email? Or do they
Oh
have
no,
a
so
actually
so the 301 they do have a system. They do have a system, and and I think with what we're learning here is the system that you've just described to me might also incorporate into their system as well, considering just how uh just how amazing the system is. I can't imagine them just using this for clean sweep. Should we take this on? You know what I mean?
Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. I
definitely.
appreciate that disclaimer. Should we take this on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we have a a time frame in which you're potentially looking to implement? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, we're trying to start clean sweeps next month, April 13th. So we only have about a month before we start clean sweep, which is why I would like to try and get a meeting with the director, a few other department heads next week at some time. But of course, I've got to work with this confidential assistant to find out when everybody has time. So if I could just use you as a direct point of contact for that meeting,
Sure,
then we can go ahead and get that scheduled for next week, and I'll explain to him what you've told me, so he's not coming in blind, and then he'll have some questions prepared for you,
sure.
and we can move from there.
Absolutely. Something else that might help because I know when
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to get a bunch of different department heads and directors involved,
Mm-hmm.
they're really busy. Maybe you want to go, hey, so we have this project we're looking at. Here are the things that it does. If you have time, maybe you want to check out because we're recording this, right? Check out
Yeah.
this video so that maybe we can save them some time. Like, hey, take a look, take a look, see what you like. We'll get on the call. There'll be questions. I can do another demo. I mean, I do them all day long, no problem. But
Mm-hmm.
just to give them the heads up so they're not coming in blind.
Yeah,
Other
that's the
than
plan.
obviously.
At least for my direct supervisor,
Sure.
I'll definitely make sure he sees this video, and and everybody else who's interested in seeing the video. Um,
Cool.
and then a larger meeting going forward, ideally next week, worst case 2 weeks from now. We can all get together and just hash this out, make some decisions.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I think sooner is better than later because
I agree.
hey, we'll have to build forms.
Exactly. Exactly.
Make sure everything works the way you want it to before you
Mhm.
roll it out on the 13th. Because if you're like, oh, hey, the 13th a Monday?
It's a Wednesday. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, so hey, the Friday before, like, okay, let's do this. Like, not really enough time. You definitely
Mhm.
want a few weeks to make sure that yourself and everybody is familiar with the software.
Mhm.
Trained, all the forms are built, and that will take some time.
Understood. Yeah.
Depending on how you want to utilize it. So just my thoughts. I mean, we're a month away, so something to keep in mind.
Gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm kind of rushing this process as well, just because I want to, have a complete understanding, make sure my team has a complete understanding so that we can just implement this seamlessly
Sure,
into the clean sweep season, So
sure.
thank you. And having instruction like what you just provided me, I don't see much issues with, us coming to understand. You're very thorough, and I appreciate that, man.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
of course, man.
If I
Of
can give
course.
you a little, if I can give you a little homework, it might be premature. But
Sure.
how many total users, can you find out how many total users there might be? So, for example, each person
Mhm.
that's going to have a tablet or a log,
Mhm.
everybody that's going to have a login, whether it be from a managerial side or the field.
Um, Mostly it'll be from a field side. I can actually hold on, let me pull up the Excel sheet.
Oh, you already
So
have it done?
managerial, it'll just be really just me as the administrator, with my boss also being the administrator, but with me doing most of the work
Sure.
with regard to, obviously maintaining the program. But as far as how many people we would expect to need or to be utilizing this service, we're looking at hold on, community partners. Let's
I
see.
think last time you said about 40, right? There's 2 people on each
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
10
yeah,
teams.
and 40 being on the high side. So let's say 30 to 40. 30 to 40 people would probably need to have one of these tablets in their hand. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, sure. And then obviously this is just for this program. There's other areas where it definitely sounds like we could be utilized as well. Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
so I'll wait for you to reach out
Hmm.
sometime next week and
Yes,
we'll
sir.
figure out scheduling a call and we'll kick this off.
All right. Sounds good, man. Hey, thanks, Ian, man. Very
Ab-
helpful. Very helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Have a great
All right.
day. Have a good weekend.
You do the same. You too.
Thanks,
You too, man.
Michael.
All right.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.